Hey, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I know, we're a few minutes late um, on that 12 o'clock. Very, very sorry for the delay. We had some customers in the office, and we supply service to our tax customers year round. It's really hard for taxpayers to actually get service in the non-tax season, but we've been supplying that service for all these many years, so it's just something that we do. Listen, yesterday, want to thank all of the people who got an opportunity to view that initial introduction into velocity banking. I wanted to talk today about some of the prerequisites for velocity banking, give people a better idea. Here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get people out of debt, okay? Especially as it relates to closed-end debt. Where I'm talking about closed-end debt, I'm talking about all these different types of loans that people are taking out, whether or not they might be loans where the interest that they're paying is very, very different than, say, what the interest that you would pay on a typical credit card. Um, if, say, for example, you have like a car loan, the car loan, all of the interest is what's called amortized. They put all of the interest, most of the interest in the front, and then as you go through the loan, that interest gets distributed. It starts very, very high, and then as it's starting to come down, um, you know, if it's a 5 year loan, you're going to wind up paying a tremendous amount of interest in the first 3 years on that loan. And there really isn't much that you can do about it except go ahead and pay it. Whereas with a revolving line of credit, for example, a home equity line of credit or a personal line of credit, what happens is you can use your cash flow. That's the amount of money that you have in your budget that is after we consider your income and minus out all of your expenses. Okay, what you're left with is what's called cash flow. Now, what velocity banking really calls for you to do is to put your income into that line of credit. And if you put your income into that line of credit, then you can attack another debt with that extra cash flow that you're creating. When you say extra cash flow, what I mean by that is a line of credit itself is usually going to have a bill that's associated with it. But by putting your paycheck or a substantial portion of your paycheck directly in to the line of credit, you satisfy that bill for the line of credit for that month, and you can direct your additional cash flow to attack whatever that other bill is, that you want to get rid of. So that's a way to target other debts, and you basically want to target the debts based upon, if I pay this debt off quicker, how much more cash flow will I have as a result of paying the debt off? Because some people have multiple debts, and then you get involved in a situation where should we attack this debt first? That's exactly what you should do. Look for the one that's going to give you the most cash flow. Velocity banking is really about different ways to create a more positive cash flow situation. That's a prime thing. That's a really important thing. Now, that was just by way of giving you a little bit more background into what the velocity banking is. Now, let's talk about some of the prerequisites to do velocity banking. Yes, you need to have some type of a tool, whether or not you want to call it a debt weapon, whether you want to call it a home equity line of credit or a personal line of credit, or even in some cases a credit card. You need something that you're going to be putting the money into, and then you use that to attack the other debts. So what happens to a person that doesn't have a HELOC or a person that doesn't have a personal line of credit? I would say before actually embarking on velocity banking, those you need to get one of those. Now, if you own a house, then you need to acquire a HELOC. If you don't own a house, then you need to acquire a PLOC, which is a personal line of credit. Now, they're not as easy to get as they had been maybe even 6 or 7 months ago. So your credit becomes a consideration. I'm always telling people that, your credit score is very, very important. So that's one of the things that would be taken into consideration here. So you want to make sure that you build up your credit, make sure that you're um, uh, you know, paying your bills on time. If there are things that are on your credit report that are drastically bringing your credit score down, you need to attend to them. Okay, and if you need suggestions as people that you could reach out that could help you with something along that line, yeah, drop me a direct message, and I'll be, more than happy to direct it to somebody that can help you in that regard. So that's important. The credit lines, uh, in order to get the credit lines, you have to have a decent amount of credit. Once you've done those things, the other thing is you have to arrange your personal finances in such a way that you have positive cash cash flow. What's positive cash flow? Take what your income is, your net income for the month, minus out all, and I do mean all of your expenses for that month. The difference is positive cash flow. In order to effectively use velocity banking, you need some positive cash flow. And then the process of velocity banking itself will create an ever growing amount of cash flow. You can use velocity banking to attack different types of debts. They're very effective in terms of if you have credit card debts, credit card balances, things of that nature. They're very effective at tackling those. Now, in addition to that, many people use velocity banking as a technique to pay off their mortgages. Okay, they want to pay off their mortgages in say 5 to 7 years. I know that's an incredibly short period in order to pay a mortgage off, which typically has 360 payments, and that means that that mortgage would be a 30-year mortgage. It is very, very doable. In the follow-up live that I'm going to have to this, probably tomorrow, either tomorrow and maybe a second part of it on Thursday, we're going to go into what the mechanics would be in order to be able to pay off your mortgage in such a short period of time. Regardless of what the potential naysayers may say, it's actually doable. Now, that's not the same thing as saying that it's easy. It requires discipline and adherence to certain techniques, and we're going to go over those things in the subsequent videos. And once again, I want to thank everybody that got an opportunity to take a look at the video yesterday. We are using these videos as an opportunity to both give back to our tax customers additional information and additional value, additional ways that can actually help their lives to be better. Our tax customers have been good to us over the years, and this is just another example of how we want to pay them back going forward into the future. Once again, this is Mike Craig. Some people know me online as Mike 1040. Okay, signing off. And if you get the opportunity, please watch this video. Please like this video, okay, and share it with as many of your friends as possible, because everybody needs a little bit of help in this area, and that's what we're here for. Thank you.